Problem statements. While going through some literature works, we come to know we figured out some problem statements. The problems are the first one is the related to storage. As you can see, this is a blockchain enabled electric vehicle network where an electric vehicle have different kind of sensors. Okay, different sensors that includes the temperature sensor, the storage, state of charge sensor, and the traffic sensor, and parking sensor. That all sensors generate some kind of data. Those data is sent to the RSUs, the roadside units, or the base stations. Base stations send those data to smart contract, and then the data is stored on the blockchain. The first problem is faced by the blockchain. As the data, as the time grows, the amount of data also grows, and it is said that blockchain can store a limited amount of data because of block size. Okay, there is a block size. Okay, and block size is very small, like some it is a 1 MB, which is very small as compared to the data generated by the amount of data generated by electric vehicles. To overcome this problem, we started using IPFS as an off-chain storage. But that this off-chain storage has a mechanism of storing the data and making availability of data, ensuring the availability of data. So let's understand how IPFS works. Whenever we upload some data on data files on IPFS, it divides it into different chunks of files. Here, I have shown this through the color codes, just like a file and just for example, file number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. And okay, after that they are hashed. The files are hashed, and a hash is generated, which are used as a content ID. That means IPFS use a specific a different way, a different approach of addressing files or data on IPFS. In this way, it is easy to detect a duplicacy of file. If another person is also trying to upload another file, IPFS can easily detect that this files also available or already available in the network. Okay. After that, it distributes that files into different peers. That peers means nodes. Okay, like a node A. Here I have shown node A, B, and C, and D, and E. Okay, it may be possible that multiple nodes contain the same file. Just for example, here this file 1 is stored by A. The same file is stored by B, and the file is stored by C and D. This is done because of to make the availability of file very easy. But this problem also leads to another problem of storage. As the same file is stored multiple times, that the same file is occupying the multiple times space, which is a big problem for today's world. So we think on this problem and we come up with a solution, and framed our problem statements, which is the blockchain ledger and related data storage poses a big challenge for network participants, and the threat of privacy leakage. The threat of privacy leakage is because sometimes the data stored or sent by the electric vehicles or some privacy data that contains some sensitive information about the vehicle and the user. So there is a storage issue and the privacy issue. That means the same file is stored multiple times. So is it possible to optimize that storage? Is the first storage and, while keeping the privacy. This is our first problem statement. And the second one comes when we think about the identity of the vehicle. Okay, in blockchain network, the vehicles are identified by the network certificates. Okay, we think we come up with an idea that one id is the real world id should have only one certificate in the network in order to keep the network safe. And the another thing we think about is block malicious users. We need to identify the malicious users and block them in order to keep the network safe. In case of ID theft, request for generation should be counted. It may be possible that a malicious user who try to request multiple times and generate multiple certificates, it may be possible, and he is planning to attack the network. Okay. Fourth thing is tracking previous certificates. It is very necessary to track or at least create a link link so that it is possible to track all the previous certificates in order to check if a user is involved previously in some kind of malicious activity or not. Okay, so these are the two state problem statements that we have figured out for this particular research work.